This video has the best controller settings, and you're gonna need them because Fortnite just updated aim assist, there's new guns coming back, and Prime OG Season 3 will be here this week. So these settings are gonna help you win in every mode, and let's jump straight into it. So right now, I'm actually playing on my PS5 console, and I'm actually missing 120 FPS mode. I think something's messed up with my HDMI cable, but obviously you want 120 FPS mode. It actually makes you so much better if you don't play on it already. For my console brightness, I always turn it all the way up to 150. I set my colorblind mode to Tritanope and turn my colorblind strength to 5. And this literally just makes your game as bright as it could possibly be because console is usually darker. Then obviously some random settings down there. You have your audio settings. Over here, you really just need to make sure you have visualize sound effects turned on and then get out of that tab. Then over to the game tab. This is basically just as important as your actual sensitivity is because like you want to have toggle sprint turned on. I like auto open doors turned on. You want to have hold to swap pickup turned on, and especially on console, you want to have auto pickup weapons turned on. Trust me, I know this is annoying at first, but if you want to compete with scroll wheel mouse and keyboard players in getting items before they do, you have to turn this on. Otherwise, every chest you land on with the player that has a scroll wheel, you're gonna lose. Swap fire inputs for pump and dump, yeah, just leave that turned on. Preferred item slots, I've actually stopped using preferred item slots lately because I just think they're kind of annoying. Depending on the mode you play, it kind of messes you up. So I've just been turning that off. Building, obviously reset building choice turned on, turbo building turned on. Simple edit, this is personal preference. You should kind of know if you need to use simple edit or not. I never diss players that use simple edit because it's actually like fast and good, especially if you're only on like 60 FPS. On 60 FPS, the lag is a lot more. It's harder to make like quick edits. So I actually encourage 60 FPS players to use it. But if you're on 120 FPS or you've just been playing the game for a while, you definitely don't need simple edit. Disable pre-edits, I think pre-edits are kind of useless on controller. They're just really hard to use and they mess you up more than they help you. In auto confirm edits, I always set this to both, especially on console. I mean, it quite literally just makes your edits and resets a lot faster. Like you're clicking 2 buttons instead of 3 to edit. Obviously, it's gonna be faster. Then you just have all the extra game options. I do recommend turning on tap to search and interact. It's pretty nice to turn on. If you want to boost your console's performance, then turn off all replays. I don't like sleeping mode, so I always turn this to never. Game UI tab, obviously you can set this to whatever you want, whatever your preference is. Gyro aiming, I wouldn't use this unless you play Nintendo Switch. That's the only time I recommend this. And then we have the controller sensitivities tab, which not everyone is gonna like these settings that I have, but I actually have a map with a settings hub that shows the current top 5 controller pros settings. So if you don't like these settings that I'm about to show you and want to try other pro settings, then just type Carter 2K into the map tab and favorite it. You'll have to wait for the settings to unlock, but in the meantime, you can turn on a song, you can turn on a custom crosshair, set it to whatever, and just free build or 1v1 a friend in the meantime. I'm updating it with new pro settings all the time, and it's a completely zero delay map with some cool features. So use it to warm up or as your 1v1 map. I'd really appreciate it. And just for fun, if you send me a picture of you playing with the settings hub unlocked, I'll pick like 2 or 3 of you and send 1,000 V-Bucks to. Just tag me on Twitter or DM it to me on Instagram. And now for the personal settings that I use, it's a slide hold time of 0.07. The reset camera access and reset camera timer just pitch 0.1 with vibrations turned off always. Quick weapon, even on console, I don't think quick weapon is very good, so quick weapon, just turn it completely off. You're gonna want to make sure to have use advanced options turned on. And with that, you want to set your build and edit multiplier, both of these to a flat 2.0 with your first person mode just at 1x. You're gonna want to set your look sense to 43% on horizontal and vertical with 0% boost on everything. Instant boost when building turned off. This is like basically one of the most common pro look sensitivities, and it's really good, especially when you combine it with this build and edit sense. This build and edit sense isn't crazy fast to get like cool flicks and stuff, but it's fast enough to still be good at piece control, while at the same time it's easy to be consistent where you don't mess up builds and edits. I've been using the same sense for literally like years at this point, and I don't change it because that's how good it actually is. And same thing with my ADS sense. I haven't changed my ADS sense in forever because I laser players with the same sensitivity, and that's a 7% of horizontal, 8% of vertical, and again, no boost whatsoever with a 1x scope speed multiplier. I don't turn this down or up because I've gotten so good on this specific ADS sense that I don't need. And very important, if you're going to copy these settings that I'm showing you, you have to use a linear look input curve because these are specifically optimized for linear. That's with a look dimming time of 0 seconds. Of course, aim assist is all the way up. I'm telling you, setting this to like 98 or 99% is just placebo. Just set it all the way to 100%, especially because now we got an aim assist buff where you actually get aim assist in bushes now. They've also been continuously adjusting aim assist like little by little. I think they basically patched like Zens so Zens don't work anymore. But in doing that, that obviously changed changed the way aim assist actually works, and I think because of that, aim assist actually got a little bit stronger. So obviously don't nerf yourself by turning this down. And then for dead zones, this kind of depends on what controller you're using. I'm using a scuff controller, so I actually play 10% on PC, but on console, I'd probably even go down to like 8% just because it has a little more delay. And adaptive triggers, again, I'm using a scuff, so my triggers are already instant mouse click press. But if you're just using a regular controller, or even like the DualSense Edge, I would definitely turn this on. It might make your triggers more sensitive, but it makes you react faster and it'll make you a better player. So you kind of just have to get used to that. As for binds, I don't think I need to mention it, but once again, I'm using a scuff controller that has 4 paddles on the back. So like, yeah, I have jump on X, but I also jump with my left paddle. Most of my binds are just default, and then I use paddles on top of it. So like change material, I use touchpad. Sprint, I use left D-pad, but I actually use this paddle to sprint. Switch mode, I set to L3. I reset with R3. I confirm with L1, but I basically never press this because I have auto confirm turned on. I edit with circle, but I actually edit with my far right paddle, and actually even my pickaxe isn't on triangle, it's actually on my inside right paddle. Basically having all those paddles just allows me to fight without ever taking my thumbs off the sticks, which obviously makes my aim and even my movement so much better. So if you haven't yet, I highly suggest learning like optimized binds or even like paddles or claw. All of these are methods that'll make you so much better. So again, if you want more pro settings, come check out the map, send me a screenshot of your settings hub being open, and I might just pick you to send some V-Bucks. Click here to watch me hit Unreal this season, or click here to watch me hit Unreal in solo reload. Of course, subscribe, and thank you so much if you watched all the way until the end. I really do appreciate it.